Okay, this is Ringwalk Media in association with Redline Specialist Cars, Highland Whisky Clan and the Glove Box Management. Hall of Fame trainer, Joe Gallagher. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. Good to
busy.
see you, mate. Yeah, mad busy, as you see in the gym this morning. It's bursting at the seams. It's supposed to be a quiet season or the quiet period, but there's nothing in here. We've got a busy July, we've got fighters out every weekend, and yeah, the gym's buzzing at the moment. There's good momentum, and yeah, it's Monday, and like you say, you have your work cut out, but it's yeah, there's nothing like it. A buzzing gym with a lot of happy fighters.
There are a lot of happy fighters. We've spent the last couple of hours talking to them, and they're all absolutely buzzing, especially the lads that are fighting this weekend. Yeah. Clark Smith, good to see him back out. A little bit of activity for him, and he's got a big smile on his face. Looking forward to Clark. Yeah,
Clark's a kid who just needs a bit of momentum now, as in what we're trying to do with Mikie Tallon and zelfa Barratt. He needs a bit of momentum. He's a quality operator, good amateur, won national titles, but sometimes in the past, obviously, he was getting ready to fight, then his shoulder was done, and then there was a cut, and then there was a knee. And he's had stop-start, but in all that time, he's always tried to keep up with his S&C. He's totally disciplined, he's mentally strong, and now we've got to get him out in this. Hopefully we'll have him out in August, and then out in September, and build some momentum up towards 2026, where he may probably start fighting for titles.
And Huey Malone gets a week's notice, but he's jumping at the chance. He's getting back out again on Saturday.
Yeah, Huey. And I think this is what we've tried to install the fighters that come to the gym all the time, is that you've got to be in the gym all the time, just like it was years ago when it was Champs Camp here, and Zelfa knows coming from his gym at Colliers when Pat Barratt and all them were in the gym at the time. Phone could go, you've got to be ready to step in, and like you say, Huey Malone's is up here, he's training, he's been doing some great work with zelfa Barratt, and like you say, the phone's gone and there's an opportunity for him to fight, and it's his second fight. He had a good 6-round win in his pro debut on the Frank Warren show down in Nottingham, and let's say Matthew Macklin's done a good job getting him out again, and fighting at Bowlers on Saturday night.
He's looking forward to it as well, and he doesn't mind where he fights. It's quite good that we're getting to see just a happy fighter at the very, very early stages of his career.
Yeah, especially for Huey. He's come off the GB set-up format, and I think he's always been used to a team environment, so being here suits him a little bit, and he's surrounded with hungry young fighters like himself that are just starting off on that journey, with like Muhammad Ali Kell, Joe Cooper, Mikie Tallon, Clark Smith, so the little pack of 6-7 there that they're all pushing each other on, so there's good teamwork amongst the lads in the gym.
And my little mate Sean Yaxley, he's back out. He's had he won a couple of straps a couple of years ago, and
he won the Celtic title in the IBO. And Sean, yes, I could say he's back in action. He had a bit of time out, but he's back, and he's fighting at middleweight. So yeah, on Saturday night we've got 3 of them: Clark Smith, Sean Yaxley, and Huey Malone fighting on the Pat Barratt show over in Bowlers. Listen, it's a stacked card. There's some really good prospect. I did an article the other week. There's some really good talent here in Manchester. With myself over at Crawler's gym, Pat Barratt's gym, Paulie De Silva's gym. There's some really, really good fighters, and it's good that they're getting the chance to not always on the big shows. I know Eddie Hearn's got a show the same night, but it doesn't stop the likes of the local promoters like Pat Barratt, Kevin Murray and Steve Woods putting shows on to help these fighters, and it's got to be a good night of boxing.
Well, mate, like you say, the Manchester scene is absolutely thriving at the moment, and it's no coincidence. You know, you guys have put so much time, effort and work into these lads and believed in them from very early on. Now you're starting to reap the rewards of seeing these guys become really good professional boxers.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel they're all in the building block stage. I think obviously Pat Barratt over there, he's got Niall Brown, and he's got George McKillen, Anthony Croller's got Bobby Faulkner, Paulie De Silva, do you know what I mean? He's got Marion, he's got some good fighters there as well that have got to break on the scene soon. Is Alex Matvienko up in Bolton. There's some good fighters. Jeremy Moore's got some. There's some really good fighters that I think 2026 will be ready to break through, and then I think Manchester 2027, 2028, there's got to be a lot of headline acts out of Manchester. Obviously you see Eddie's investing with Pat Brown and other kids, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the city's in a very good position. Like cycles or football teams, let's not talk about United at the moment, but like you say, we're in a cycle, quiet period, but I just think I can't wait for these kids all to break through and get Manchester to be the capital of British boxing again.
Well, obviously you mentioned Eddie's got a show this weekend. Shame we couldn't have seen zelfa on that, but he's going to go on to Steve Wood's show, I think, the week after, get some more experience at his weight. He's buzzing zelfa at the moment.
No, zelfa's in a good place. Obviously, he's just come off a good win, new weight division, and we just want to build a bit of momentum. So zelfa, he never had a fight in a year before he fought Jazza, and I just looked at it and I thought the age and the weight, and he kept at a weight that he was when he was 16 years old. He's 30 now, and he was doing 9'7" then, 60 kilos, and expecting still to do it now, 14 years later. As you see, lots of people are moving up in weight divisions. Joe Cordina is, Johnson, Jack Cattrall is. There's lots of people. Your body just can't hold that or sustain that, and it was the better and the safer option to move him up. Now he's just fought at lightweight. He's got a fight again. Hopefully we'll get him out again in September. Steve Woods has done a great job to put him on his show the week after him so soon having a fight, and then obviously 11-11 management that are behind him as well. So hopefully we get zelfa out in September, and then in another fight in November, December, and then the world's the oyster. Then come next year we'll see how the world title scene looks, but we have a plan for zelfa, and I just think momentum and keep him busy. I think that's the key to it. I think that's the key to all fighters, is just keep him busy and active. We've seen a lot of fighters of late, zelfa being one, Josh Taylor being one. Inactivity hasn't been really good to them, so early on in the careers they were kept busy and active, and it doesn't matter whether you're on the big stadium show. And listen, it would have been great for zelfa to, I thought, to be honest, zelfa was got to get the call when Michael Gomez pulled out, being a Manchester fighter. Thought zelfa would go on that, but listen, he isn't, and for whatever reason I don't get involved in that. Obviously that's down to between his manager and Steve Woods and Eddie and that, but Steve Woods has got him out the week later, and that it's a great platform for him. The main thing is that he's fighting. We just need to fight, and regular and often, and that's the plan with zelfa. And a lot of the lads, as you see, Mikie Tallon just fought, he's fighting next week, and then he woke up to His Excellency saying that he wants him on the Canelo Crawford. So Mikey's, you might look out the window, you might see him floating over Moss Side at the moment back to Liverpool, but it's huge. And also for His Excellency to, I wouldn't say pluck a kid out of obscurity. I think everyone knows how good Mikie Tallon is. He was an exceptional amateur. He was on the England youth team with Moses Atuma, and he's a good fighter. He's just not really been given the platform. I'm not all that bothered about that to an extent. He's managed to work away in the background, get his thing in. For His Excellency to come out and put that out there is huge. Whether he fights on it or not, there's lots of stuff to do before now and then, but it was a great boost for Mikie Tallon.
Well, I spoke to him before, and he was very calm, and he's like, I'm very grateful that I've been, even looked at, and if I can get on that card, it would be amazing. But I'm boxing here. This is what I'm doing. I'm working hard. I'm doing what Joe says, and if I get put on that card, It'd be an amazing experience. He's grown into a young man now, hasn't he, from what he was, and I think probably 12 months ago he would have been completely shocked with it, but now he's just, I'm doing my job and I'll leave that to the guys.
But Mikie, when he first came in, I said, Tash will take him back to school. He had that angelic face, and that's why we called him the Omen. He looked angelic, but he's got that horrible, nasty streak in him, and obviously he's been to mature and develop now. He's still only 19, just turned 20, and it's good to see him coming off that win last time out, his maturity in the gym. And I've sat down and spoke to him, it was only last week, that soon you'll be having to step through the door and everything that comes through it. Are you ready for it? Because I don't want to be pushing you if you not feel you're ready for it. So some kids can choke or push. Now, after His Excellency's post this morning, obviously he's got to get inundated with possibly media and talking and all that. But he's like, no, I can handle it. He's got a very cool head and ice in his veins, and I think this is what he was built for. And I've always felt there's a world champion in this kid. It's not an easy path. He'll have his ups, he'll have his downs, and he'll have his heartaches along the way. But I do feel he has got a world title or two in him. I don't put too much pressure on him, but like I say, he's a kid that seems to be thriving under the spotlight at the moment, where some kids sort of like choke with that type of pressure. He seems to be a kid that's like, yes, come on then, let's do it.
And fair play to His Excellency for picking up on talent that's perhaps not even been picked up by the other promoters at the moment. He's obviously seen what's gone on with Mikie, and he said he was wanting talent on the cards, and that's what he's going for.
Yeah, I did say to Mikie, we dropped the bollock when we started your boxing. We should have changed your surname from Mikie Tallon to Mikie Talent. And listen, Mikey's mum, dad, they're so excited. He's messaging him and all that, and it's just good for the kid and that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And obviously it raises his profile. Everyone's going, who's this kid, that kid, and there's pressure on him now. But like I said, that's well in the fire. We've got a fight first and foremost coming up. Get that, and then we'll see what happens with that, and hopefully it materialises. And yeah, it'd be great for Mikie. Dreams come true.
And another man that's got a big show ahead, Lawrence Okolie. We've seen him work there and there this morning. He is grafting. This man is taking, Kevin Lerena seriously, isn't he? Well,
he has to. Kevin Lerena is a very good fighter, a very dangerous fighter. We're WBC number 1. We didn't have to fight Kevin Lerena. We could have just sat in that position and waited for a title opportunity against Gabriel. But Lawrence needs to fight. I know it's short notice. I'm not making excuses. Well, I'm not. But what I'm saying is it's 5 weeks' notice. It's not the best preparation, but we've got to do what we can. And Kevin Lerena, as we've seen with Daniel Dubois, dropped him 3 times in the first round. Had a humdinger of a fight with Justin Hooney. We've just seen what Hooney did with Fabio Wardley, and he's a dangerous kid, former cruiserweight world champion. He's the current WBC bridgerweight champion, and he can punch. And more importantly, he was like one of the main sparring partners for Tyson Fury in camp. So they're coming to win. Kevin Lerena knows if he beats him, he'll become the WBC number 1, and he'll get a shot for Kevin Lerena with Gabriel. So no, Lawrence, as you hear me, I'm surprised I can talk them out shouting today at him and on him all the time. And I feel sorry for him that I seem to be dogging him on him all the time. But there's no room for error at this level, and it's all right saying, oh, you're on chief support and this and all that, but at the end of the day, you've got to be on it. You've got to be on it on the night, otherwise, because this is a huge opportunity for Kevin Lerena. And I said, Lawrence, you think Kevin Lerena's scared of you when he's been sparring Tyson Fury? Is he heck? He's got to come right for you, do you understand? And you've got to be ready and be on it like you were in Poland. So, yeah, it's got to make a good fight, and there's a lot at stake on that fight.
What I like about Lawrence, when I was speaking to him earlier, I sort of said, it's good to be in and around, and a lot of the guys in this gym are taking a lot from having you around. Yeah. He went, I'm taking from them. I'm watching them, motivated. I need to get up there. I need to get going. And he said, I'm taking that from them. So I'm learning just as much as they are from me. The other way around. He said it's a great atmosphere to be in.
Yeah, I say when Lawrence was getting ready today, having his hands wrapped, he's watching Clark Smith sparring today, Zelfa Barratt sparring today, and I can endorse what you were saying there. He's there watching. And I'm a big believer young blood motivates old blood, and he's surrounded by hungry wolves at the moment, and yeah, there's a siege mentality, a hungry pack, and they're all waiting for a good end of the year and a massive 2026 where I feel there'll be a lot of titles coming to this gym.
And quick note on Mr. Billy Deniz and Jack Massey. Jack's waiting obviously for a date, ticking over. Yeah, it's once a year job, Jack. But Billy's been out there out into Canada for the 6th time now. And he's doing really well, Billy, isn't he?
Yeah, listen, he's a talent that's coming through. There's another one there, like say, slowly coming. I think it's 13-0, 14-0, Billy, and he's getting good sparring in between his fights. He's been over there sparring Christian and Billy, who's just had a good win. And
first round, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right around. So he's learning his way from thing, and because he's not here, there, or everywhere. But like I'm saying to you, there's all these kids. Paulie De Silva's got loads of kids like this. Do you know what I mean? And Pat has, and there's lots of Crawler has. There's lots of kids that, all right, they're not on the TV every week and everyone else, but they are learning the craft away from the bright lights. And Billy Dennis is an exciting style fighter, but he has to understand, I know we're in a very fast, we want it now society, whether it be McDonald's, TikTok, and want it now. There is a process that you have to go through, and me explaining to himself, Barratt hasn't just rocked up here 9 years ago. He was helping Anthony Crawler fight for his world title. Anthony Kakatsi hasn't just walked up and got it. He was sparring Crawler 8-9 years ago. It's a process you got to go through. It's a time, and he's got to understand. I know he's keen, and I know he wants to crack on, and he's watching Callum Simpson. But there's a process that he's got to go to and learn your craft, because once you go through the door, you can't walk back through the door. And I say, which is a good thing. He trains well. He's a good discipliner, and just needs to listen a little bit more. Jack Massey, obviously, he was promised a date, hasn't happened, and don't know what's happening with boxing now. But they owed him a comeback fight, and he's waiting on that, and then he'll be ready to go again for a title. So we'll see what happens with him and Boxer.
Well, listen, busy times for you, mate. As always, like you say, everyone's supposed to be having a little bit of a breather, and it's getting twice as busy for you.
Yeah, no, exactly. We've got some good young kids coming through as well. Do you know what I mean? Kieran, he'll be making his pro debut. Kieran's a kid that just won the Manchester Box Cup. He beat James Dean Fury. He was a kid off my academy, which is nice. And I've got another kid off my academy, Reese. He'll be turning professional at the end of the year. So I'm really pleased with them too. I think they'll be two good little talents as well. But the gym's absolutely packed to the rafters at the moment. But there's a good vibe to it, and it's good momentum. We've got a busy month of July, and hopefully we come through it all. And big year ahead. But I'm really looking forward to 2026. How
are you? Because
I'm all right. I'm just like I say, 100 miles an hour, never short of a word or a million. I'm all right. Obviously, finished the chemo. Had some scans. Was in hospital the week before last. Stent had moved. Had complete blockage. So I was vomiting bile and all that stuff for like 7-8 times. So I was in hospital, dehydrated. Put me on a drip. Refitted a vent, stent, and then they let me out. I begged them to let me out on the Saturday night, watched the Rugile, and then I was back in the gym last week Monday and flying, as you've seen today, flying, and just got to keep going, you just got to keep going with it. And because of how busy we are and the opportunities and the kids, and we're all on this like snowball that's gone from a flake that's getting to build, and you've got to lead with example, do you know what I mean? And I'm steering the ship, and everyone's got to follow my lead, do you know what I mean? We've just got to get on with it and be happy and be grateful for the opportunities we've been given at the moment.
Well, listen, mate, it's been one hell of a day. Very hot. I appreciate you letting me come down and speak to the lads as well. And I will be there Saturday night. I'm coming.
Oh, you're coming? Yeah,
I am.
I think listen, Pat's doing great at that show, and obviously when you're going head to head with the big promoters, unfortunately, I said, listen, that's a good card. Eddie's got some good fighters and that.
Yep.
But for Manchester talent and what's in Manchester, do you understand? It's a great card, and that's a big shout. That so I'm sure Pat will be pleased. But there is some serious talent on that show, and I'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday night.
Definitely will. Well, listen, keep well, and we'll look at the results over the next 3 or 4 weeks. All going to be positive, I hope.
Yeah, please God.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.